Ohio State fans, you were probably sitting on pins and needles yesterday. More kids announcing during early signing period where they would go, not knowing for sure if you were going to land every five-star talent in America. But in the end, you got a couple of game changers and two promising names that should be immediate contributors in Columbus from day one. Let's talk about what Ryan Day was able to implement for the Buckeyes' future beginning in 2024. If you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, plus anything going on with coaching searches, the transfer portal, national championship news, and a bunch of other nonsense that we love in our crazy sport, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on what to expect from Ohio State going into 2024. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, college football aficionados, and Buckeyes fans everywhere about this channel, because you've already passed 1,000 subscribers. Thank you in advance for that. But now we're on the race for 5,000, then 20,000, then ultimately 100,000. And ladies and gentlemen, you know we're going to get there. So jump on in while the water's fine. Give me a follow on social media. I call it Twitter. You can call it X. I don't really care. It's at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, the conversation with college football never has to stop flowing. This is going to be the new norm in the world of early signing period, or what I now call the new National Signing Day. Most kids either already know where they're going, or they're going to at least figure out the finalization of what they're looking for in a university during the early signing period. This is brand new. And in a brand new stage of NIL, where literally money and funds and resources will come countlessly cascading down the riverway at the 11th hour, you can never expect anything until a kid is officially signed. And it was why Jeremiah Smith's commitment yesterday to Ohio State was a little bit rocky. You know, he signs early in the morning, but you don't get that letter of intent until almost 9 o'clock at night. There's a reason for you sitting on your edge of the seat, because if you don't know who is actually going to be suiting up for you next season, and at any given moment, you get a phone call, hey, thanks for everything. Best of luck in your future endeavors. I'm going to go play elsewhere. And the Buckeyes saw that up close and personal yesterday twice. They saw it earlier in the month. You know, you lose a talent such as Justin Scott, great defensive lineman. Well, he leaves and he goes to the likes of Miami. And then you lose at the start of the day, Jeremiah McClellan, who was going to be another premier wide receiver, but he decides to go ahead and join arch rival and future Big Ten foe, Oregon. And that was the case for Jeremiah Smith. And that was the case for Eddrick Houston. And that was the case for Mylan Graham and a bunch of other players. But at the end of the day, you did land premier talent. Let's talk about Jeremiah Smith, number one player in all of the college football 247 and On3 rankings when it came to prospects. This is a premier game changer on the outside. Great size, impeccable speed, incredible catch radius, and he's coming to Ohio State. I don't know much in the world. I am a very simple, modest person, but depth comes for all. Taxes always have to be filed by April 15th. And if I want to learn how to play wide receiver and become a Biletnikoff Award winner, maybe even a Heisman Trophy finalist and definite first-round pick, I'm learning underneath Brian Hartline. And that's exactly what you're going to add in with a player like Jeremiah Smith, who did commit to the Buckeyes. Last second, there were rumors and speculation and conversations of maybe he would go to Miami, maybe Florida State would get in the mix. But lo and behold, held to his commitment strong, never wavered. Now going to Columbus, Ohio. Great get, overall, impeccable size, what you're looking for in a premier number one wide receiver. Plus, you pair him alongside Carnell Tate and whoever's going to be your starting quarterback moving forward. That's a combination that could be lethal starting in year one of a brand new Big Ten. Then Eddrick Houston. This is a kid who comes from the Southern region, and it is very challenging to convince anybody to leave the SEC, the conference where it just means more resources, more opportunities to be on the bright big stage, and also a little bit more NIL funds. But he didn't go to Alabama. Titletown was not able to tab this kid. Instead, he's going to be suiting up, hopefully going to become the next Nick Bosa, the next Joey Bosa, Chase Young, difference maker off the edge. And Jim Knowles, he cannot wait to get his hands on him. I would expect a guy like Houston to be an immediate contributor. I'm talking the second he touches down on campus, he walks into Woody Hayes' athletic complex and says, I'm the best son of a gun in this room. You will respect me. And you know what? Who am I to judge? This is a kid that has impeccable speed coming off the edge, good 6'4" frame, not to mention 265 pounds. He was the number 5 player in the state of Georgia, and he chose Ohio State. He could have gone to Alabama. He could have strapped it up in Athens. He could have gone to Ole Miss and followed the pathway of what Lane Kiffin is building. But instead, He sticks to his commitment. This is a big test for Ryan Day, and a lot of people had a bunch of conversations when it came to Day after the season. 11-1, Cotton Bowl finish. We're not going to be playing for a college football playoff. And many like to go ahead and say he was born on third base. I'm not going to go tit for tat with you on that. Results speak for itself. Coaching does matter. And whether or not he did have an upper hand to be able to have a roster built and sustainable that was always going to be playing for a Big Ten championship, you still have to produce. Ohio State has double-digit wins every season, minus 2020 because it was a COVID year, underneath Ryan Day. He continuously is landing top 10 recruiting classes. And yes, the big, bold brand of Ohio State plays a role in that, but you still have to land the right players. And now, much like the adaptability we saw a few years ago, where he realized, I just can't win with offense. I have to have a solidified defense. If I want to be one of the best in the game, I have to be fundamentally sound on both sides of the football. He's doing the same thing in the recruiting trail. It's easy to go ahead and land kids in the state of Ohio or Indiana or Illinois or even parts of Iowa and Minnesota and the Midwest where they build and breed offensive linemen. But if you want to be successful and hold your own against the Georgias of the world, the LSUs of the world, everything that we know that's going on in terms of Alabama and the future of what we're going to see with Texas, you have to win in the South. You do. And that's exactly what you did. You go down and you get a guy like Eddrick Houston from Buford, Georgia. You go ahead and you add in another guy like Aaron Nolan from Fairburn, Georgia, future superstar quarterback. You get James Peoples, a 4-star running back from San Antonio, Texas. You're spreading, laying down foundations and building recruiting crowds across this country. That's what you need to be successful. And Ryan Day did that. So they're going to finish with a top 5 recruiting class, no matter if you watch on 247, whether you watch on 3, Rivals, they're good. And they've added an exceptional talent outside of just 2 big-time names. Landing Jeremiah Smith and Eddrick Houston was just like putting the cherry on top of a very promising sundae that is your recruiting class, because you have a good baseline. You have some impeccable players and some great toppings that are going to pair alongside veterans next year. Take a guy such as Aaron Scott, the #1 cornerback in the state of Ohio, not to mention the #2 cornerback in the nation. James Peoples, already mentioned him, #4 running back in the state. Garrett Stover, #11 safety, #3 player in the state of Ohio. Bryce West is coming over, top 15 cornerback from the state of Ohio. You have talent, you have players, and you have baselines of where you're going to build moving forward. It's an overall good class. It's exactly what you want to see. And you're not going to land everybody. This is going to be the new norm. What you saw from Ryan Day, where his face started protruding a smile and you saw his legs buckle a little bit and he exhaled a sigh of relief knowing Jeremiah Smith was coming to Columbus, that's a new norm in college football. This is not going to be a viral meme that we see once in a blue moon. No, every early signing period or new national signing period, you're going to see this type of reaction because you don't know who is actually coming until ink touches and dries on paper. But you landed 2 studs. You landed a premier pass catcher and the #1 recruit in the nation in Jeremiah Smith. You got a formidable pass rusher coming off the edge in Eddrick Houston, not to mention a bunch of other pieces that are going to solidify your roster. Don't look now, but Ohio State is going to continue to be Ohio State. They're not going to slow down, and they're not going to let the newbies come on in and try and take command of what the Big Ten is. It still is bully football. It still is about establishing an identity and a culture. And more importantly, it's about landing the right amount of talent and how you develop that talent. Few do it better than those in the Buckeyes nation. So congratulations to Ohio State on another great recruiting class. You may not have landed everybody, but you did enough to survive. And more importantly, you did enough to grow and prosper heading into 2024. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.